approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
What is up? We are midweek. What are we calling this? Game week 4 on Sorare. We do have a little bit of MLS, so if you're in, let's see, we got some early action. Let's go. Jay Blaze, what's happening? Daniel, what's happening? Who are the Crew and Union starting? I think the Union's a little bit more straightforward than the Crew. I'll talk about it. I'll show lineups as well, just because it could be a little ugly for the Crew as far as who's even going to start. I think we're going to see a B side, and some of the percentages that I originally have, like right now, might even be high, like 70% on Cucho and Diego Rossi. I feel like they don't play, but we'll see. Philly Island game, but against Columbus, might be Columbus's B team, so we'll see. Ronan, hey, pretty self-explanatory. I agree with the Philly breakdown there. Good luck for you. Thanks for tuning in before you head off the bed. Posting some links here. Yeah, so where to even start? I mean, Columbus Crew, MLS Cup and Leagues Cup back-to-back. Something that is really crazy. 2:30 a.m. A sick world we live in. Hey, love it. Love to hear it. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, that's crazy. LAFC came up short again. They feel like the Philly of before, so they beat Philly, and now they're the runners-up back-to-back. What can you say about the Crew? I mean, unbelievable. Cucho is inevitable, as See It, Save It always says. It's just inevitable. Yeah, LAFC should Sparks, but it's just that in the end, Columbus is too much at home. That stat line going around about Nancy's home record at lower.com field is just insane. 2 losses. Philly could have 2 losses, I guess PK losses, but could have 2 losses in a week here. Craziness. Then the 3rd place match, good for Colorado. You know, having a resurgent year. You know, as a Philly fan, I would have liked to see another 3rd place, but as a Sorare guy, you know, kind of don't hate it, because the beginning of the MLS season, if you're in CONCACAF Champions Cup just qualifying, it's brutal, and the league play can suffer, and then you have all that rotation. So Philly doesn't have to deal with the rotation, and they can actually focus, and you don't have to worry, oh, man, are they going to rotate on the weekend because they have a midweek against Pachuca, at Pachuca. So, you know, beautiful. I kind of, you know, I wanted it at first, but after last season, man, they were just kind of decimated. So don't hate it, actually. But congrats to Columbus, Mihalovic. There were some funny PKs, if anybody watched. Stefan was unbelievable. You know, he made some really nice saves. Then Ronan skied it 30 rows up. Some funny stuff. Lewis, what's happening? Aiden Moore should have had the first goal. Shot clear off the line from 6 yards out. Ouch. What a player, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. Aiden Morris. I really hope he can. I never bought him. I really thought about getting him, just like his price was so depressed, and so is like everyone. But man, what a player. I really hope he can succeeds over there. I mean, the crazy scores he had for Columbus, and then he leaves, and Zawadzki steps in, and they don't miss a beat, which speaks to Nancy's coaching and the depth of the team. Just a lot of good stuff. Daniel, I will pull that up. I'm just right now. I can show you. I'm just running the script right now to update it, so that's why I don't have it up. But yep, we'll hop right into that for sure. And And as you come in, I mean, I don't think there's going to be too many questions. I'll show my lineups. There's only a 1-game slate, so I think I can show my lineups for both. And then once we do that, we'll go into the entire thing here of game week info, everything from server probabilities. So let's start with Philly because that's a little bit more predictable than what we might see for Columbus. Could be a little bit of a hangover type of lineup. So let's jump into Philly. All right, we're ready to go. Okay, so Philly, this is on Predictorfy. Again, just showing one lineup for each. I feel like that's legit just because there's only 1-game slate. Diego, what's up? Peck is finally on Sorare. Yeah, he wasn't in the announcement, which is absolutely absurd. He is like the guy that should have been the announcement. He didn't even make it on there. That's hysterical. What is he? 22, and I don't know. He's like an L15 of like 70 something. But yeah, he's here. As long as Schulte starts, yeah, I agree there. He should be. So we'll go through the 4-1-2-1-2 real quick. Damian Lowe transferred out. He's gone. Jose Martinez, he's gone. So that does open up. Jack McGlynn didn't start. I guess we'll start on the back line first. Harriel didn't play. It was just rotation. Bizo played all 90, so it should see Harriel. In a crazy world where like Kai is rotated, which he shouldn't be, Harriel can play on that left side, then Bizo can play on the other side. Just don't see that happening. It should be Elliott and Glesnes for the foreseeable future. The rest, Makania, he hasn't had a single appearance. The only other center back minutes has been Harriel. He played right center back a little bit. That was all the way back CONCACAF Champions Cup. So with Lowe gone, it does open up, some room there. I would like, maybe next year. I guess it would be more next year. But Brendan Craig getting an opportunity to be a third center back can't be worse at times than what we've seen with some of these center backs. But it should be Elliott and Glesnes and that back line. I feel pretty confident about it, but Curtin could throw a surprise. They have played a lot of matches in a row, so maybe they do rotate. The 90-minute guys, I guess, have a little bit more than the other guys. Leon Flock played the left central mid position where McGlynn normally plays. McGlynn was rotated last match. He did come off the bench. I fully expect McGlynn to get back in the starting lineup. They do seem like they're ramping off his minutes a little bit. I think he's just more – it just kind of depends how they play. He's a defensive liability, so they do like kind of having Flock over there, a more central, tighter defensive, because losing Martinez, they kind of have to do it by committee. So Bueno played center defensive mid. He's spry. He's solid, but should be McGlynn and Flock. And then it should be Bedoya's turn over Quinn Sullivan, but Quinn Sullivan can play a lot of different positions. So, he could play up at striker again if like Ura doesn't play. As Diogo says here, Ty Berbo has been on fire. Yeah, he's been crazy good. Them not having him against Columbus the first time, being out due to that red card was huge because he just does so much. Ura by himself up there is just not good. He kind of needs someone else up there to do a lot of things similar to what Carranza did. Gazdag should be there, but again, Quinn Sullivan, he can play that position as well if they decide to bring Gazdag off the bench. Again, I don't think they will, but anything can happen. As I said, Bedoya in that rotation, he kind of starts every other match. It would be the likely source here. Could we see Adeniran? Maybe. It just doesn't seem like they want to start him. But with these congested fixtures, a long Leagues Cup run, it's possible. So that's Philly. We'll get to Columbus now. So Columbus, like I said, I've kind of toyed around. I make clear notes here. So this is so rare inside. They won. They entered the competition in the round of 32, so they have less kind of minutes, but they played their guys every match outside of some goalkeeper rotation. They rewarded Hagen for playing well while Schulte was at the Olympics for the last match. Schulte should be back in. I would be pretty surprised if he wasn't, unless there's like some transfer rumor out of the blue, but should be good there. A Munson Jaburko situation. If you look here at the bottom, if you can see this, Camacho, Morera, Arfston, Nagby, Zawadzki, Rossi, and Cucho started all 5 matches. So those would be the guys that I think have the most likelihood of maybe a little bit of rotation. Could we see Camacho, actually get a break for once? Sure, we could possibly see that. So like if they filled a B squad, I could see Amundsen playing the left central back position, left center back. I could see Traburka moving to the center, which he's played before, and then maybe Zawadzki slides back. They don't really have any other center backs of note, which would make Matan be like that, more of an 8, in that midfield. Nagby, if he doesn't go, if they are truly thinking about going and just kind of rotating everybody, you could have Derek Jones fill in there, but don't feel as strongly on that. But Nagby has gotten some time off. Arfston, he can play either side. Do we see Dewan Jones again? I think we do. It's just kind of tough to put them as starters. I have it 50-50 there. And then on the other side, Farsi, 60%, Arfston, and then Herrera hasn't gotten any minutes. So I don't think he's going to start, but he's got to be in the mix a little bit. Then Chambos, I think he would get the start over Ramirez. Again, some of these guys getting some rest. Diego Rossi. Maybe we see Russell Rowe. I think that's a really good possibility that we see Russell Rowe. And then maybe if Cucho's out, Ramirez still starts, but he starts as the number 9 striker position. So a lot of different opportunities. Guys that I haven't mentioned, AZ Jackson, he hasn't really been a factor, but maybe he plays as one of these, attacking mids. Just not really high on him when he hasn't gotten, I think he's made 1 sub appearance. So he's kind of out for me. Could they go like as far as Habrune, however you say it? He was at the CONCACAF under 19s or whatever. Pretty good track record there. I don't think he's gotten many minutes, if any. I think 1 start, maybe a couple sub appearances. So could they go that deep? Sure, they could. And they do have the depth. And like with Philly, they're playing well, but they're not going to blow anybody out of the water. They still struggle to possess the ball, especially, at home. They should possess it more often. They try and dink that long ball and then kind of play wide, cross it in with Kai Wagner. So, as much as you would think they would win, could be a little bit tricky. Good question here from Diego. If Dewan Jones plays, would it be on the other side, Farsi or Arfston? So if Jones plays, it could be a toss-up, but if Jones is in here, I would favor Arfston slightly. So I have Arfston 70%, Farsi 60%. But again, I could see any which way there. Arfston has played both sides, but as of late, he's been on that left wing back side, that left mid, left wing back, whatever you want to call it. But I really think we see Dewan Jones, but I just haven't committed to making him the starter just yet. It's hard to I wanted to predict a full B squad, but if they don't end up doing that, how dumb do I look? I put out a completely B squad, and I get 3 out of 11 doing that. It's tough to really commit to that. If you have these Cucho, Diego Rossi guys, it's really tough to feel confident about them playing. I don't have them. If you did, you had a great run when you were able to play them. Ricardo, what's happening? Good to see you in the stream. So that's my take on those. I'll take questions. Some of these are just pretty much guesses. With the information that I have, there's going to be a little bit of a hangover, I do think there's a lot of risk. Lose situation. Yeah, yeah. You get grief if you put him on Kuch on the bench. He starts. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Is Arson one of the biggest surprises this season? He's been really good. Yeah, he's been a kind of shock that he took over starting position. Yaya Boa was kind of the guy, and then now he doesn't even touch the field. Which, if I look at my stuff here, let's see. I feel like Yaw had a ton of starts. Yeah, Yaw had 16 starts, um, which is kind of crazy, and he just kind of completely lost. So. I'm assuming JR, yeah, Russell Rose starts in one of those spots. Yeah, that's kind of, I know I only have him at 50%, but that's very, very likely. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I'm not going to have him starting over them, but the likelihood is very high. So, like, if you can't see that from 70%, I'm still deciding if maybe I dock Rossi and Cucho to like 60% to really show, hey, like, these guys aren't, I'm not gonna say aren't. They have a possibility of not playing. So like whenever the lineup comes out and they're not even in the squad, they didn't even make the trip or something like that. I could see something like that happening. Is McGlynn 100% starting? I went 90%, and it could be wrong, right? He's not started in situations where I had him pretty high before. He should. Like, all signs point to him starting. Like, especially him coming off the bench last match. He's not a guy where, unless they see something in Columbus that maybe he was exposed the first time they played him, a week ago or whatever that was. But yeah, I miss Aiden Morris already. Yeah, yeah. He's been a stud, but they're keeping on without him. Zawadzki's sticking in, and yeah, and it's with Zawadzki, he's so versatile. If we take a look at where all he started per Opta, this stuff's all per Opta. So, it could be wrong. I've had a couple that they haven't been right, but right center mid, right center back 3 times, 2 at the left mid spot, 3 at the right mid, and 2 at the center back. So he can play. Man, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can play pretty much any position other than the attacking mids. Schulte a big danger? Not really. So basically, from like what Nancy has said previously, and like where we were kind of playing that roulette with them, he would reward Hagen for how well he did while Schulte was at the Olympics. Now that he gave him that match, I think it should be back to Schulte, unless they again go to a full B squad. 80% for a goalie, there is some risk there at 80%, because usually your goalies are going to be at 90 unless it's a San Jose situation or something like that. Yeah, it's a little bit tough. For you, who should be the favorite in the match? It just depends who they play. Like, right now in my head, Philly, because I don't think they're going to have I don't think they're going to have a full squad. But if Cucho, Rossi come, you got to give a slight edge even on the road to Columbus, just because they've already done it. I know they did it at home, a week ago, but it's tough to bet against them, that's for sure. But I think Philly can bounce back. Would you take Nancy as national team coach? Yeah, I mean, at least over Trembla. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly a good coach. He did it in Montreal. Look at what Montreal's been since he left. And like the imposter came and has been awful there. The Crew's second coach. No prior no prior head coaching positions other than with Crew 2. And he's having issues with just Martinez, which could be on just Martinez, but it's been kind of everywhere. But yeah, Laurent Courtois is kind of all over the place up in Montreal, especially they just lost 5-0. When the playoffs should start, boy, I haven't even looked. There's about 9 games left in the season. The shirt. Oh no, this is we have like Salvation Armies here, and it's kind of, it was a dollar shirt from the Salvation Army. It's not Bahamas or anything. It's just like a regular shirt, but it's very soft, so it's, one of my favorites for sure. All right, so let's get back to what the people want. So, talking about La Liga and the overlay, once again, if you're in D1, I've been stressing this, play your boys, buy your cars. If you have a D1 spot in season, you got $5,000 up for grabs, and there are 53 lineups. This is limited. If I had a D1, it's tough to get up there. I haven't bought any, but if I had the possibility, I'd be slamming this. I might even pick up a guy or two to make it the best possible, because right now, 80 rewards, 53 lineups. I mean, house money. Nice podium money too. Like, if you have this fired up, you're going to be making money. And this is kind of a strategy maybe to think about. So what obviously I can't do it right now. I think I have like a D4 because I've never played it. A strategy for next season, towards the end, as in-season prices come down, I think what I'm going to do is try and get into some of these competitions and not really worry about kind of like, okay, buy one team or whatever it is. Try and play some matchups and try and get up to D1 for next season. Try and get as many lineups up to D1. So then now when we know this is going to be, there's some overlay. Okay, yes, you have to spend for the cards, but if there's just going to be overlay every time, you're just going to print money and you're going to probably get the squad back a lot quicker than you'd think. I know you might have to go against some crazy teams, but with some of the injuries already, I think you could finish top 25. That's a 50-50. It's Hershey, what's happening? Let's go. Limited Whale, what's happening? Let's go. Love to see it. So that's where it is. I mean, 150% chance, the overlays there. And then you go down to Champ. So Champ D1, 65% there. In Season 2, 58%. So it does drop down, but La Liga is, again, where you probably want to play your cards. Then you got Champion again, D2, D3, and then La Liga 3. But again, these prize pools are pretty juicy. Over $1,000 all the way through 3, and then it drops down below 1,000 at 4. That's kind of where you want to be. If you keep going down to the classics, it looks like at the moment 3 is the best chance but there's no podium money on that. So let's see, 11% chance in D1 Champ Classic. Somehow I've made it to D1 and Challenger by only using SKC and San Jose collections. I feel like that that should get you some sort of like, how Rivals have the boxes. That should be like an achievement in itself that you earned. Here's 100 essence for your troubles getting to D1 with the worst teams in the league. No offense to SKC, who played really well last match. Yeah, La Liga Classic and Champion. Yeah, it does kind of, as far as Classic, it does make sense there, just kind of based on the reward breakdowns, because you have to go all the way down here. Like, yeah, there's podium money for 1, but it does get down into the lower edges here. Then you got your Cap 270 special. Who would have thought? Yeah, San Jose got a good matchup this weekend as well. 270, we got 17,000 lineups as of now, and 398 rewards. Who would have thought? So if you have these MLS guys, that's where they're going, or an under 23. So like the Jack McGlynn question, probably for under 23 maybe. As far as kind of taking a look at the rest, yeah, if you're going to play under 23, it looks like 4 has the best chance at a reward. 3 slightly behind. Under 23 Classic, obviously limited, but yeah, 3%. Pretty brutal. There's just no rewards there. So you want to get promoted out of that. That's for pretty much anything. Bump it to rare, because that's where I'm going to be looking at. Again, as most streams, I haven't looked at anything. I know I have my Philly guys, so Guess I'll have some cap 270s, but I got Schulte on the other side. He'll probably go under 23. But yeah, same deal. 20 lineups, 35 rewards, 10K in prizes. Man, if you're in D1, if you have a D1 spot, how good it's been to turn rewards. If you have that D1 spot already, man, not financial advice, but I get after that because I think I've thought about it, and by now maybe I could have promoted a couple, but mine would be D4. Nazi shall pay for his crime. It's just honestly, this is like one thing I like. While there shouldn't be overlay, rewarding getting to D1, there's no doubt about it. You don't want to tank. Like, you want to get to D1. That's true, and you can clearly see it, which I like. I hate the idea of tanking 1 week to, play for a D4 glory. I like how they structured the prize pools, which they tailored. So as far as 270, a 2.5% chance there. Nothing really going there. Ooh, you have 2 D1 La Liga, 2 champ in season D1, and 2 champ D1 classic. Yeah, you are set. I mean, your name isn't limited, Will. Was it 5% for nothing? Yeah. So I should have expected that. That's awesome. So it should be a heck of a game week for you. So who said midweeks aren't great? Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, let's get to the team fixtures, and let's go to all. Just need to dodge Barca and Real. Yeah, that could be a little tricky. Again, I haven't really looked into anything, but Betis is your top dog here, playing Kiernick, Greece. Nope. Is that an Israeli team? Where are they from? That would be my guess. That could be way off. I apologize if that's way off, Jonathan. Ukraine? Yeah, they're way off. Ukrainian League. I've never heard of that club, so that's on me. Never heard of that club, but 87% on that, 2.71 XG. So Betis, I guess you can play him in champ. Or no, you can't. You can play him only in 270, right? Yeah. Ajax, 86%. So, and if anyone else has heard of this, just kind of came across my timeline. They play Feyenoord on the weekend, but that match might be postponed. Let me know if anyone else heard that as well. If that's the case, they probably will field a decent team. If not, they'll probably rotate, in my opinion, but not an expert on the Eredivisie by any means. So if anyone else heard that. Then you got Atletico. You can play them in champ against Espanyol. Big favorites there, but they don't really score too well. Usually Galatasaray. We just got the reverse fixtures of all these. There's your Real against Las Palmas. Besiktas, Lugano, the Chicago Fire sister club. You love to see that. Fiorentina playing Puskás Academia out of Hungary, right? Yeah. Salzburg, Kiev, Bilbao, Valencia, Chelsea. Should see some rotation there as well against Servette. Heidenheim versus Haken. Girona, Osasuna. From Rossi versus a club I've never heard of. Trabzonspor, St. Gallen, Sociedad Alaves, Copenhagen, Kilmarnock. There's your Barca against Rayo Vallecano. Contender. Is that like Peru or something? Chile. Shouldn't know. A couple Chilean. Then we're out of the 50%. So some usual suspects, some not so usual suspects, that's for sure. Kind of looking there. It's pretty wide open other than these crazy percents, but you're going to run into some serious rotation risks with some of these clubs, especially with the reverse fixtures. Always look at what the scoreline was. If they even, if they're carrying a 4-goal lead, you're definitely going to see some rotations there. So definitely something to look into from those different sides. So let's see next. Can I even field any teams outside of that? I know this is going to be a pretty short one, but like with this midweek, there's really nothing going on too much. I got some new MLS cards, so always nice to see that. It's about time, some great usage. But those of you who have pencils, the Genk card, that's no longer in season with the new one coming out, so that's definitely a bummer for some people, I'm sure. Pack cards. Curious actually what it's going for in the rare division. Let's see what the 82, 58. Yeah. Wow. I know it's end of the season, but man, third best forward on the site. You pick up a cabin rookie card yet? No, I have not. I probably will eventually, but I just don't really need it. Where the first rare go? 258. Number one serial. I just feel like that's low, but at the same time, you don't have a full season of in season. He's just so good, though. Like, I don't know. Good question here. Does there have to be a certain amount of covered games for under 23 to be open? Game week 509. I don't know. I would assume it's 10 covered, like the other to be open, but I don't have the answer to that. I'm not sure. Man, look at that. So good. We got some on auction ending soon. We got an hour 43. Oh, it's 3J and 3K. I don't know. This one's sitting at 227. This one went for 258. So that's about 6 hours on that. Interesting. All right. Enough Gabriel Peck. Okay. Yes, I got D4 in the in seasons there. D4. So no hopes there, and all D5s for the limited. So even if I would have started before, I would have been nowhere near. I just don't play those competitions. Champ, I guess I could play D3. I don't think I have a goalie, so it doesn't make sense, especially not in season. Sorry. Under 23 is probably where I'm just going. Whatever I can run out here. So I knew I had 2 goalies. I was going to say Hadel. First leg they lost against Braga. So home, slight underdog. Then you have Schulte. Right now they're at 40%. If lineups come out and they look different, then we might not see that same thing. So obviously playing them both. But Hadel's probably going to get my D1. I always do like to look at the pick scores and then circle back to server probabilities just to see the under 23 goalie situation, because obviously you're not going to have that many. Carl Hines season, getting that utility. Chevalier, Jorgensen, should start for Chelsea. So he's probably, I know this is a AAA against Slavia Prague. Yeah. But I feel like Jorgensen's a good situation. Marashvili staying there, and then coming to Liverpool, next year? Interesting. Goulier, Schulte, Hein, John Garcia, Espinal, but bad matchup against Atletico. Not a lot of starting goalies, so limited lineups that can really play these. Outside of, you're going to have some really tough lineups to compete with that has Chevalier, Jorgensen, like Hadel being third, but they're still an underdog. Just shows you like the lack of depth. As far as defense, some Salzburg guys, Michelin plays, Slovan Bratislava. I'll probably play my Ori together with him. Hato. Yeah, some usual, like the midweeks have felt a lot similar. Like it's a lot of the same names, obviously, from last week whenever we looked at it. And then the addition of La Liga. Ajax, if they don't rotate, all those guys are in a really good spot. Then like some of the Chelsea guys that don't normally play, Badia Shield maybe, 100% here. I haven't looked at anything else. Some of these guys. Then, Harriel. As far as MLS guys, again, there's not like crazy smash spots. So like when I'm looking at this, hope that they can keep a clean sheet. And the other options I have, like, do I risk Kenneth Taylor? If the Feyenoord game's off, slight risk. Yeah, I should definitely look at the percents and not go by these hundreds. Just kind of throwing these together. Let's see. Not player database, my players. There we go. Let's see what we got here in 123. Okay, so yeah, that's why he's not showing up. Thank you for a heads up, Lewis. Throw the 0 out there, 60% on him, so maybe it makes sense to play Harriel there. Actually makes a lot of sense to not have that. Risk, Kenneth Taylor at 60%. McGlynn, Osorio in a good spot. He looked good until he was pulled at halftime. Then he had a decisive on the weekend. Of course, I didn't play him, and I didn't look at the forward position. I only have one forward that even has a remote chance. So we're in the mud. Should have looked there first. What kind of forward? I'm not going to buy a forward just for this game week, but always curious. We should see some of them. Sincere, however you say that. For Michelin, Yamal, Vinny Jr. So some of the galleries that are going to have these guys, they're going to have good teams. And I just can't compete with that for this game week with my forwards. Not going to buy anybody, especially for a midweek. It just kind of is what it is. With the new sub roles, just going to go for it and throw them in. Sorare in. Call it a day. So we'll throw our Harriel extra XP in this one. Second one will probably be a throwaway, but I'll probably go to cap 270. Next, Kenneth Taylor, if he plays solid, but like he hasn't put up any crazy scores. So I'm probably just going to double McGlynn, or at least go one McGlynn and hope for the best. I don't think Sullivan's going to start. Could be wrong there. Barriel has a nice matchup, and Osorio has a solid matchup. So I kind of like both of those guys as well. We're going to go with the Harriel McGlynn kind of combination, although that they don't really match up too much. He's not going to start. He started on the weekend. They've rotated. It's been the same every time. But since he's joined Lille, he has been coming off the bench every match. So maybe I just hope for 35 there. Sub appearance, however long it is. Caps the upside for sure, but it's the best that I have. So 35 points for him. Can we get some decisive elsewhere? And then just kind of hope for a box. At this point, that's kind of the game that I'm playing. Hope for a box. I kind of like Barriel, but I'm going to put Osorio in that top lineup. And let's hope that Columbus puts out the B squad. Harriel, he took a few corners last night. Or not last night, sorry. Yeah, last night. So yeah, I'm probably going to captain him. Osorio would be a solid captain as well, but for now, I'm just going to put that. Not great, but with the lack of options that a lot of teams have, it's not the worst thing in the world. As far as the B squad, just curious what it would look like. I know it's kind of stupid to play them in the same game, but then, he hasn't even been in the squad lately, right? Yeah, it's his last match. So again, you're hoping for a 35 if he plays. Let's see what the great predictors have. 10%. So this is just ends up being a throwaway, but as far as these guys, I don't think they're going to make it into 270 anyway. Maybe Harriel would, but I'm trying to play my Kais. I'm trying to play the other guys, so maybe someone will fit in. Like Donovan, he's not going to see the field most likely, so you'll throw him in, and then do I want to save a McGlynn? McGlynn's L15 of 59 isn't the best. I mean, Kenneth Taylor I could throw in. So that kind of last spot, it doesn't really matter because the forward position is just shot. But we'll throw McGlynn in, the old. But against the keeper, that doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to do that. I don't know. That risk scares me. Maybe the Feyenoord will have news that it's canceled and then Kenneth Taylor plays. Has he come off the bench whenever he was rotated? He has 30-ish minutes. Lock him in for 35 as well, and just kind of throw away these lineups. The midweek's not looking good, so can't all be limited well 5% and have a great looking midweek. So you'll go with this. Barriel, sure, why not? All right, let's get to the Cap 270s. Again, I have Blake. I knew that. I had my Philly guys, but can everyone fit in this Cap 270 without playing a stinker? I don't think, but we'll see. So higher percent. First, love to have that Blake on 16%. Going to throw the Kai on 16% as well. And let's see if we can find some value. I think Bedoya is going to start, but he just doesn't score well. But it's kind of one of the things like I kind of need him to play. Does that allow you to get like a Gazdag in there as well? And then forward situation, I got to play Ura, or do they really think he's not going to start? I mean, I think he's going to start. If he doesn't, so be it. But he had that red card, so he missed that match. Played 90 yesterday. So in theory, sure, he could get rotated. Maybe Sullivan plays up there, but at the end of the day, probably going to still play him. 54 on him. So if we go Bedoya here, I have two Bedoyas. I mean, I feel like I'm the only person in the world that has two Bedoyas that I never play. And I'm going to go Ty, and I should have plenty. 65, yes. We'll go Gazdag. For this, 2024, good enough. Set and forget. And then the other one, very similar because I have two separate teams here. I mean, I guess I could go Glesnes, a little bit of differentiation, but just curious what this would leave us here. 49 on this. So it means you're probably going to get Bedoya or Sullivan again, but I do think Bedoya is going to play. I don't think they're going to mass rotate because, for example, like McGlynn didn't start last match, so he's expected to start. The back line, they don't really have any options. It's Hershey. I actually will show you their predictor file because they have the 4-1-2-1-2. It's not contend. Challenge. Okay. I'll actually show you what a thing. Yeah, makes sense. Like, I'm not going to get anything out of the Sullivan Bedoya situation, so it would make sense to buy somebody in my situation, but just kind of or taking someone from my under 23s would probably make a lot of sense. But with there only being like a few rewards, just going to kind of chalk it up. But it's Hershey, so I don't think you're going to see as much. To be honest, I think Ura could be rotated. Ty could be rotated. Quick turnaround, Sunday to Wednesday. Of course, Gazdag could be rotated. Flock started. Bueno started. Sullivan started. So I do have some rotation with who started last match. But like this back line, unless Harriel plays left back and Kai sits, and right back Bizo plays. At center back, Makanya has not played a single minute for the first team. I just don't see that. The only other person that can play center back is Harriel, at least that has played a minute at center back this year, and he is not natural. He played all right, but not natural. So like I just don't see the back line rotate. I could be completely off on this. The midfield is kind of where the midfield and forwards, yeah, you could see some. But like Flock has been pretty set starter. Bueno started last match, like I said, so it's kind of, it would be rotating because he rotated last one. I don't know. McGlynn didn't start, was just the big one for me. So Bedoya, in theory, he starts every other. If we look here, it's pretty much every other every time for Bedoya. The one guy I don't have in here that I guess I should have given a bigger look is Danley Jacques. But I don't know. I guess he could jump in, but like the Philadelphia way is you don't start right away. You take a little bit to get into the team. He has played 25 and 29 minutes, and I probably should pencil him in for some percent. But like Bedoya was the reason we came here. If you look here, sub, start, sub, start, sub, start. Okay. Started 2 in a row just because there was Olympic issues, but I'm just kind of following the pattern with him, and I have McGlynn starting over him. I have Flock starting over him. So like I just don't see him starting out of those guys. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, and I probably should put a percent on it. The more that I kind of talk about it, Bueno started last match. I still think they're going to keep integrating Danley Jacques, and then kind of I don't know what they have planned for him. You know, Jose Martinez is a huge hole, but do server probabilities have these same predictors as Inside and Predictorify? There's some similarities. So like Lewis and I do both, but it's pretty sporadic. There's both sides, and probably Lewis can talk about it as well a little bit more. I don't know exactly who all does it, to be honest. But I forget what the percentages were the last few, but it's been really good. Like not missing many competitions whatsoever. A lot of players being predicted. So I do the MLS. Lewis does pretty much all of England. So there's that similarity, but I don't really know as far as the rest. They're definitely from like, I don't know if it's both or, you know, Inside or whatever it is, but there's a lot of similarities, I would think. All right, last spot. If we go this route, 49. So I guess I could play like Elliott if I wanted to as like a different, instead of playing the same lineup, or I just play the same lineup. Other than the forward position. But I would like to play this McGlynn, which it's kind of one of those things. Do I want to play McGlynn over Gazda? Probably not. If I had a cheaper forward, that would be ideal. Like, could I play a Deneron, hope for the 35? Here we go. Yeah, Lewis. And agreed, they are very good. Yeah, we've had some good, at least for my players, they're doing a really good job. And it's easy. Like this is so much, not that like the other sites to knock them at all, because I like seeing the actual lineup. But if you're looking for just a quick data look, okay, love to see the 90%. Love to see his projected 77. His L15 is 70%. His win percentage. Like I like having this all just at your disposal. And that starting percent does add value. Speaking for myself, and I think it does add value just to see it, because if you go into the player database, you can sort by, you know, the predictions. I usually go by, you know, 50, whatever. If we go by 70, some players with a 999 aren't predicted. So there are a decent amount, but a lot of these guys don't have cards anyway. So Can you sort if they only have a card? I believe so. I can't remember. In-season classic players. Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree. Expected scores, and especially like with the new season, Egal has really said that, hey, these are a work in progress. It gets better as the season goes on, which obviously you don't like it. If it learns as it goes, they're not spot on yet, but they get better. And from my experience, using them, I use them as like, okay, I'll build my lineups and then I'll look, okay, I'm not sure who to play through between these two guys. This guy's projected higher. So, it was a toss up for me building, and then I just go with the other guy. So, whoever guy is projected more. I'm going to keep him in there, and then I might just go double defender. Maybe they keep a clean sheet if all those guys don't play. But sadly, that 49 really just takes a lot of these guys out of the wheelhouse. Yeah, especially with the rivals competition coming up, the rival sheet will be awesome. Just to like give you a quick glance. Okay, these guys are projected this. That's going to be huge. ATX, what's happening? Good to see you in here. So I guess Jack Elliott makes the most sense, just because Bedoya just doesn't score that high, where Jack Elliott could put up a random really nice score, or a random dud, or give up a PK. I'm probably just not going to play my Quins, just because, yeah, I guess he'll come off the bench worst case, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to go for a guy that's probably going to play 90 minutes, and it's in a competition that I don't expect to win a reward anyway, so we're just going to fire it out there. One thing I do have going for me is the percents, so especially that first team, I mean, 15, 14, 14.5, 16, I mean, that ends up being 66%. Yeah. Any 0 L15s? I stupidly bought Derek Jones showing as 0 when it wasn't. Now I'm down $1. It's hard fitting these guys into 270. Yeah, I don't know about, off the top of my head, I don't know of any 0s that are projected to start. But we can filter this out to see what we got. Again, this is sober probabilities. Highly suggest if you haven't already taken a look at it, you get a free trial. It is worth every penny. All right, L15 average, max, we'll just go 0. Yeah, sub minutes now changes everything. So as far as, did I put the right thing? Yeah, L15. So doesn't look like any 0s, at least from the projected guys that are 70% or higher. You said even a sub appearance. So let's change this around to 0 min. I have a cap of 4. Oh, yikes. It doesn't look like anyone from 0. Cap of 4. Oops. I gotta reset that because I messed up. All right. Okay, L15. Max of 4. Do we have anybody playing? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. Does not look like you're gonna get 25% on a Mallorca guy. C Vanderhayden, 30%. All right, so I'm gonna sort it as, because if they're projected to start, maybe they'll get, and then we can take a look. Projected start minimum. Why don't we go at 30? Because at least gives you a shot. But 999 just means, Malangsar for Lens, Dimitrov for Leganis, Pablo Marine. So Cdad 30% here. So I guess there is options, just not like a guy that's going to start. But Pablo Marine. I'm just going to take a look at him, see if he comes off the bench. Like, is he a guy that I don't follow Sociedad in La Liga that much, but he just came off for 4 minutes last match. But yeah, not terrible, but at the same time, I mean, you're just praying for 35. I have a few lineups that are going to be like that, so you can do worse. I'm sure his price is inflated, but I mean, if you're going rare, limited, whatever it is, $7 isn't the worst, I guess. And you can trade for this one if you wanted. You got Casio, Wagner, Cucho, and Rossi, so I thought it might be worth a shot. Yeah, we might be. I mean, I hate to say it, but we might not see Cucho or Rossi if Columbus completely rotates. But again, I would not play them. Just it's just some risk. What they'll do, I just don't know what they're going to do. Short time frame, a little bit of a hangover, and a chance to get those guys rest since they literally just played every match. The last, I forget, 5. Would it be 5 from the round of 32? 4, whatever it is. So if I get a box this midweek, it would be a win. So that's where my hope is, because you're just not going to get anything out of this 270 unless you do something special. But yeah, can't really. Yeah, it's logical, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just really logical, but a lot of the times the logical thing doesn't happen. Look at Evander last game week. Like, why even say that in the presser? Like, yeah, he might, if we're lucky, he'll be part of the squad. And it's like, okay, he starts and goes 90. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? A couple MLS questions. Yeah, sure. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I missed one. Oh, you're on a rival sweat right now in an Ecuadorian league game. What a time to be alive. Um, Now that like the new competition, it should keep me in check. I have been the king of playing one early in the week and forgetting to play and getting relegated. And I did it again this week. I think I'm sitting on 3, and I'm definitely gonna get relegated because I didn't play anything else, and I just forget. And then it's like, yeah, hey, let's play an Ecuadorian league, and I just don't know anything about the league. But yeah. So is Gald back? Gald was on the bench last match, last League's Cup match. He should be back, as far as I'm concerned. Haven't seen any issues in training or like any updates that are scary. But if you look at Gald, he was expected to be back mid-August. He was on the bench on the 7th, so I mean, plenty of time. He should be good to go. And then Lucho is suspended. Yeah, Lucho is suspended. So as always, on my Google sheet, I try to make sure that I'm as up to date. That Diego Luna situation was weird because Opta added a yellow at some point, and I didn't have that on my issue. But did I even put it in here? Yeah. So they're actually missing Yedlin as well due to yellow card accumulation and Lucho. So there's 2 different ones there that could be interested in with them being out this weekend. I was surprised Lucho didn't start again. Like, he's just playing 45 minutes. I mean, 11 days removed from playing 45 minutes just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and that as well. Canadian Championship. You would think you would get minutes. I don't know if he'll start in that or come off the bench. Uh, Bernadeschi gets suspended. Yeah, he is the king of in a great matchup. Getting out of there. Hollings had a nice fixture at home to Houston, hoping he's secured that spot for now. Yeah, nice score. Yeah, he's back to scoring well again. Like, coming into the season, I thought he would have been on the right side, and Campos would have won the job because Valencia wasn't a starter last year. He's kind of really been a surprise in a good way. But Hollingshead does a really good job. If they want a guy that like really pushes forward, Campos would be the guy. But, yeah, Hollingshead and Palencia should be starters. It's just, will they rotate? Will they get minutes to other guys? Bogusz probably to Celtic. They're trying to make it happen before Friday's deadline. Oliveira's gone. LAFC has some interesting things coming. So, like, who's going to play these wing positions? I kind of looked ahead, and I'm struggling for sure. We know Belonga's on one side. Is David Martinez going to get some burn there? Are they going to go, like, two strikers? Then you still have to play someone at, like, if you play like a 4-4-2, they still go three in the back. Like, there's so many question marks on what they can do. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Dino Cooper, what's happening? Good evening to you. It's just tough. That's one thing, like with these breaks and then, teams coming back, it's tough. It's really tough. Transfer window, there's a lot of uncertainty, and it just, you throw in the Opta injuries that you need to look into. 52 minutes for Murillo. So do we see Long and Chanel? That's what I have it at right now. But again, we don't get training info for LAFC. It's brutal. Tillman was on the bench last match. Can he go? 2 matches ago, and then he went 27 minutes. Is he good to start? There's a lot of issues there. Is Insigne back this weekend? As far as this weekend, I don't know too much just because we haven't heard much. But I did get this quote: full strength for the Canadian Championship midweek. Herdman said the only exception was Cuejo, or how do you say that? Osario will be out this weekend with yellow card accumulation and they're expecting to have Insigne and Spicer back, and then Bernadeschi is also out on the weekend. So, the quote today, and like these coaches' quotes, I guess you can take for a grain of salt, because again, back to the Evander situation, like he basically said he'd be shocked if he was even in a team and he starts and plays 90. So that's just really frustrating. It's not the first time Phil Neville's done that to us, where he kind of says one thing and then it's a little bit of mind games to the other side, not preparing for Evander. I don't know, which can be a little bit frustrating, to say the least. Any other questions? I mean, I'll answer weekend questions, but to be honest, I haven't really jumped in to all my lineup building and projecting. Yeah, no one likes Neville, huh? Completely random one, but with classic prices, I'm thinking of picking up a Pooch in the offseason. How long do you reckon he stays in the league? Remember you mentioned a potential Europe return? Yeah, he likes LA. He does. He signed that long-term deal, but long-term deals don't really mean anything if you're going to say that. Duration, I think he likes it there. I don't know. He found his way, that's for sure. But I don't know. I love Ricky. I'm holding on to mine. I fully expect him to be back next season. Could something happen? Sure. But, I think he's good. Yep, that's no fun whatsoever. Yeah, I would have thought he would have started this weekend. But now he's going to be really healthy, right? Now he's going to be just locked. Good to hear from you. Ace Tui. Other than that, I mean, so talked about, but I'll bring it back up. So I did show, let's see, which one I did. Sir, inside for this one. So I'll pull it up. So my inkling, Daniel, is I have them at 70%, but I just might dock them to be like, to show how much risk. What I said about this, so the guys that you're really looking at, Camacho, Morera, Arfston, Nagby, Zawadzki, Rossi, and Cucho started all 5 matches in a row, with short term. So I think they're all in risk. I think 70% might even be too high for Cucho and Rossi, just because there might be a hangover of winning and actually, okay, hey, we did it. Here's a break. We're going to throw a B squad out here and then come back on the weekend with the regular starters. That just like whenever I think about this and kind of like talk through it, that just makes a ton of sense. So my likely it's hard for me to, not put these guys in the starting lineup as well. I can just highlight the risk because I don't want to put, I really think Russell Rowe has a really good chance of starting, but like to put him in the lineup over Cucho and like Cucho starts, I just can't take that backlash. So I have to be a little bit more cautious, I guess. Let's see, who else were you saying? Schulte, with him not playing, he should be back in the lineup. It was kind of rewarding Hagen for what he did while Schulte was gone. Maybe Camacho gets a rest, or Morera gets a rest. Zawadzki slides in. Maybe you get Matan in the midfield. Maybe you get Derek Jones in the midfield. I think we might see DeJuan Jones at that left wing back spot. Chaburko maybe plays center back instead of Camacho. Like if they go super rotation, that could all happen. But again, it's just so tough. It's just really tough. Jesus Ferreira expected this weekend. So if we take a look at Dallas, man, the front three just can't stay healthy altogether, huh? Jesus Ferreira, 28 minutes. I guess I can take that on the wrong email. I think they're going to be cautious with him. They did have that 4-3 win. Maybe we see him come on at halftime, depending on the situation, or maybe he gets, 30 minutes again. I think they're going to just baby him so that it just doesn't happen again, hopefully. But could be wrong on that one. So, yep, what's happening? Fitness still an issue? Yeah. Cucho is starting to look tired, but with Nancy, who knows? Yeah. Agreed. I mean, away fixture. Yeah, we'll see how lucky we get. Yeah. That Columbus lineup could be really nasty, or they go for the throat and just wipe Philly off the face of the earth. But yeah, I'm definitely in between there. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. At least you could take some solace that if Columbus rotates midweek, you should feel great about the weekend, which that's kind of where you want these guys. You don't want them to play in the midweek. So it's kind of a bonus if you do have DNPs with them, it kind of works out. And then you can, if you have an in-season, you can play them an in-season challenger on the weekend, and that's kind of why you play the game. I just don't see Cucho staying. He's too good. I've said that before, though. Like, he's so good. That's like one guy that I wanted to buy multiple years ago. I bought Brenner over him. We all know how that played out. And it's kind of spurned me the rest of the way. And I know if I would buy him, he'd be gone. You think Latin America, like a Flamengo, Club America, Tigres? Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see him going to like back to Europe. I don't know. I know he's just like a class above most of MLS. He's just too good, but he's a guy that I think could do it in Europe if there's anyone that could. Whether he's a certain starter over there, that's the translation is tough. But like a guy that plays 25 to 30 minutes off the bench, I'm sure a lot of teams in Europe would love that. It's just not for that price tag. That's not going to be. Joe Ducey was happening. Oh, it's just the other account. I feel like he sticks. This game is a true 9 or 10, yeah, in between. Personal feeling. Oh, yeah, sorry about the Twitch ads, my bad. Yeah, also was and Brenner. Yeah, Brenner was. Brenner did start for Udinese as a cam last match. I still have the card. Oh man, that's one just got away. Oh, that's just such a bummer. That was the same buying cycle. I bought Talus Magno, and he just. It's good he got out of New York City, but I just thought he was going to be like one of the forwards, under 23 forwards over that summer. Just wasn't. ATX Spanish League. Yeah, gotcha. Could be. All right. I mean, you have the full Cincy with Barrial and Vasquez. Yeah. Yeah. Are you buying a cabin? I have not. What's he selling for? I haven't. But $10, 117 for the one of. Whew, that's crazy. Yeah, I just can't. I have way too many Philly one ofs in this collection that I overpaid for, but I did win D1, so it did pay for it back. But like I just can't I don't need a collection score. It's kind of like the collection server data show. It's just like I they added players and like I didn't buy this season's Ura because I just can't stand them personally. There's guys that I just sure I could finish it, but there's no issues. When's he off to Europe? I believe when he turns 18, right? Yeah, he'll be great in 8 years. Yeah, yeah. Like he plays for Philly too. It's just I have too many players in my gallery that, uh, like Berchimas from Charlotte. Like he's still probably 2 or 3 years away. Like I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just like, yeah, he's gonna be good, but it's just like, why did I buy him now? And I could have just waited. I'm terrible at that. I'm like, man, he has so much upside. Just wait. Just wait. Yeah, his scores page won't work because he had that one sub appearance, maybe. Yeah. Uh, even with no Orjano. Wow. I would have thought he would have got one. It's hilarious that I was just saying earlier, like Peck wasn't even on. Like, hey, we have Giroud. Like, Peck's literally the third best forward on the platform right now, L15 wise. It's like that should be like the card that you absolutely pump. And it's like I feel like half the time they don't even know. Like, hey, we released these cards when everyone was waiting for Gabriel Peck. In my opinion, maybe not because of his price. Like based on his price, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, how many times? I don't know how many times like watching a Galaxy game. I'm just like, man, I wish they had a Gabriel Peck card. Like, man, I wish I had that. Yeah, let's look at Orjana. See what the price. Yeah, so forward and midfield guard, especially his forward card, yeah. So I'm assuming these prices would be. Oh, that's the forward though. Yeah, so like $11 there, and like for the rare forward card about 64. I mean, even under here, midfielders. Yeah, both midfielders. Yeah, it does seem pretty cheap for the guy that's an absolute stud. So forward card of the market is the only one, 66 there. So similar to what it's going for. Yeah, it does feel cheap. But, I mean, these midfielders went for a little bit cheaper, but I mean, a lot of these prices are super cheap. be a nice Lucho. Yeah, definitely a Lucho. Hard to find. Yeah. Still might be last rare forward purchase. Nice, nice. Permanently signed. Yeah, I think it was what a 2025. At least whenever I see the deals happen, 2025 plus 2 player year options is what he signed. Green means it's this year. I guess I should have made that green too, but I have my other email on it. Well, with this being such a short slate, and then like the weekend is the complete opposite. There's so much to go through. It's like, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't got an hour out of this one, just based on one MLS match, and then yeah, yeah, December 2025, but then 2 year team option that you would think they would keep him if he's on the same trajectory, and then oh, that's sweet. I love to see different clubs like stacks. You know, you got your Atlas Lucho Acosta with him from what Velez. Yeah, uh, that's something of beauty. Thing of beauty. Sir Hiss has been all over this card. Oh, it's the one of. Is this the one that's up? Floor price one of. If anyone's interested in getting them, I mean, at a just over $1 premium, if you're into that kind of thing, doesn't seem bad. I'm almost tempted just to buy them right now, just because we looked them up on stream, but I'm not going to. I have way too many MLS cards at the moment. But yeah, I also saw the XP, and it's just like it's tough to, whenever it's really low, you don't want to burn those 3 levels because it's so easy to get those levels. Not like so easy, but pretty easy, and then it's just like, especially like, wonder who's in that collection. Actually, I'm curious if anybody of note. I mean, I'm not a big Velez guy to know anything, but I know they had some young talent in that kind of time frame, so there might be some nice pieces there. But at the same time, like, I buy this card and then, yeah, I've done this so much too. It's just like I bought this card for 2% XP. Brutal. Yeah, a couple players. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. Diego Godin. Oh, Valentin Gomez is in there. His rookie. So you could pump up this collection score pretty good. Get that one of. Get that. I mean, you're well on your way there. Perone. Wow. Yeah. I'm probably bypassing names that I'm just Julian Fernandez. I was gonna say Prestiani. Man, this is a good collection. That's pretty sweet. Almada the year before. I think you're right on that. Yeah. So actually, like me looking at this, I'm just like, well, don't mind if I do. Just pick up all the rookies and boost them up. But like, if you have this card, how do you not? I guess because it was with all the bots, huh? I guess that makes sense. But you would think you'd pump that up, but bots wouldn't pump it up. That's the deal. Damien Fernandez. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You'd love to see like a pretty sweet one. That 1% definitely warrants 100 USD. I'm in. Let's go. You think about 80ish, yeah. I mean, let's see what some of these prices are. And you can pick up a few for $1. Man, this is just screaming. Make this collection. Prestiani's. I mean, the current. He was 15 here. That's crazy. Walter Boo. Yeah, I mean, with the amount of rookies, Fernandez rookie for $10. I know that he hasn't played a lot for New York City, but like, I kind of like this collection. ATX, you actually getting this card? I don't think I'm logged in or anything. I'm not buying it, but where am I? Still up there. Still up there. It's just begging to be bought, man. It's just begging. Oh man, forward card. Just so much to like about this. I'm so talking myself into this, but I don't even think I have enough balance. Yeah, I'm more looking at Europe as well and like trying to not buy any MLS, even though like some of the prices are really just looking really, really nice. Boy. Does he age out next year? He's not under 23 anyway. I was gonna say I was looking at the 21 card. Yeah, it took so long, and then of course it pops up and it's a one of. Yeah. Oh man. If it's meant to be, I'll wait till tomorrow and then see if it's still there. But let's see if I log in to see if my balance is exactly that. I mean, it's probably worth it. Hmm. Doesn't look like it. Oh man. All right, so I don't want to though. Is the problem. So if you see my cash balance here, 66.42 and 66.21. It's almost like I have to do it. Oh man, Sorare, what do you do to me? What do you do to me? Like I don't need this card whatsoever. Like I have so many forwards. I just don't need this card, but at the same time, I need this card. It was meant to be. Someone else from chat buy it, so I don't have to. No, I'm definitely gonna wake up tomorrow. If it's still there, I'm gonna buy it. If it's not, it was meant to be. And if I buy him, I'm gonna buy a couple other ones to boost that collection score, and the slippery slope starts. All right. Any other last minute questions? Getting past my bedtime here. Yep. Meant to be. All right. Well, thanks everyone for jumping in. Almost an hour and a half out of a one-game slate. You love to see it. To be honest, don't think I want to see you have it. Already had our Rebels matchup. Don't want you to competing. Yeah, you spanked me too. Good luck, it's Hershey. So yeah, good luck this game week, everyone. I have zero high hopes, so I'm looking forward to the weekend. I don't even think I got one reward out of like 15 lineups over the weekend, so it wasn't great. So just plugging along. Um, Good luck, Limited Whale. Hopefully, your La Liga experience is everything that you ever wanted, and can't wait till we're back here on Thursday and you're telling us how much ETH or cash, whatever you get from all the overlay that you're just smashing, Mister all my D1 lineups. Love to see it. ATX absolutely. And on that note, I'm going to check out and maybe I'll have this in my gallery come tomorrow morning. We'll see you next time, guys.